Well, I'm back on my shit again, hunting up stuff at the thrift store like I need any more of it, but sometimes you just need a change of scenery and to get out of the house during winter where I live, so this is what I do to entertain myself. And I do have an eBay store, so we'll see if I find anything to list there. I did come across this Verticalville puzzle, which I've sold before, and prices are going up on this one, so it is a grab. I grabbed a printer cable and this VHS copy of Velvet Goldmine, which I happened to see in the theaters. Ugh. Somebody wants that, though. Struck out at the Thrift and Dollar, other than just finding some fun stuff to film. I almost bought this ridiculous game Go For It, but it was missing a few of these birthday-themed game pieces that are in the box, plus another couple of necessary components. The board was bent too, and it barely fit in the box, but look at this. It took a second viewing of the player piano to notice the antelopes or gazelles or whatever those are in the background. I passed on the parrot lard and this TV, and then also this Rosemary's Baby thing at the community thrift. Almost bought The Arrival, but I don't have a Laserdisc player. My only other find of the day was this copy of David Lynch's The Straight Story on VHS, the only G-rated David Lynch movie, and I definitely encourage you to see that one if you haven't yet. And boy, what a loss. I just saw the news today. So I had to check this puzzle for completeness, and luckily all the pieces were there, but some of them were kind of peeled. We'll see how it does in the eBay store. There are some others listed right now. I'm going to wait a few days and then put this one up. I could have spent this time circuit bending and all that stuff, but, you know, sometimes you just got to get out of the house and get some laughs and see what you see at the thrift store. All right, let's speed this up a bit and get the table cleared for my next manic exercise, which is to lay out all the other alphabet apples that I have in my possession and see what the circuit looks like. This is what I've been working on lately, and I'm curious, after some of the discussion in previous videos, if these differ at all from one to the next in terms of circuit architecture. Let's find out. Spoiler alert, these all look pretty much the same inside. I had copied one of these that Tommy Stevenson bent years ago. I'm not sure whatever happened to that project. I think I must have given it away. But I swear that the connections that he made were on jumpers that protruded through to the brown side of the board. But I don't see anything like that inside of these circuits. So I guess my memory is a little foggy on this one. But anyway, we'll box these back up for now rather than leave them open. But I guess that answers that question for now. As far as I can tell, these all conform to the same circuit inside, but perhaps there were earlier versions of this toy. All the ones that I have, though, look pretty much the same. I know I should be working on the alphabet apple, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to just say hello to all my viewers who are commenting on these videos. I'm glad to see that people are still interested in this sort of thing, as I am. I wanted to show off a couple things, and also say that I am reading the comments. So if you have things to say about these videos, comment, and I'm happy to respond to questions if I can. And, you know, I buy and sell stuff on eBay, so things can move around in the mail is, I guess, what I'm getting at. And that's sort of one thing that we're going to talk about here. This is the Talking Math Computer. I found another YouTuber's channel that works with these sorts of speech synthesis chips to get them to talk. I think what goes on with these is that it has a vocabulary of a certain amount of words that it's able to synthesize from the instructions on the chip and the noises it can make. That's as I understand it. Unfortunately, this had battery compartment corrosion, but I did find I still had the back of this. But as you can see, as is the problem with a lot of toys, corrosion begins in the battery compartment and then will creep up the ground wire to the board. So this isn't working properly. Somebody might be able to get this working properly, but it's not one I know much about. And I think his intention is to remove this chip and then build circuitry around it so as to get it to talk for his own nefarious purposes. So I think I'm going to just pass that along, and I have an eBay store. I'm not going to share that, but I may make a private sale or something. We'll figure this out, but shout out to that viewer for reaching out. Can't remember everybody's name offhand, but I'll mention you in the comments and maybe flash your handle here. But check out their channel; it's cool. Here's one of those loan finds I got from the thrift store the other day. I just don't see toys as much as I used to at the thrift store anymore, but I still go. You still get lucky with certain things, and that's how you have to treat it. But this was a 25-cent purchase, and this is an old printer cable. Not sure what this connection standard is, like parallel or something. What I like is DB25. This is used often for printer cables, and you can find switch boxes that use them. I use that quite a bit for my golden sound stories, and we'll talk about those a little bit too. I mentioned those in other videos, but so, okay, how I would treat this sometimes, I'll try to give an example here, but we'll just get into this thing. But as you can see, I don't use this end, but I do use this formatted end. And you can trace the wires that are inside of here using your multimeter, multimeter, whatever. So you could cut this cord, say, or I could cut this cord even in half. And I'd have a long cord, well, half as long as what's here, that ends in this. And I could put that away for a future project. But I think I might have busted off a connector here, so I'm not too worried about this. And I have more of these, but that's how I would use this. Because then you could run that into a control box, say, or something like that. Or in terms of the golden sound stories, I use them to switch between the circuits that I want. So there's the in-out, and that's where I would connect this, let's say. But I would have a whole. This would go to a control box, but it would probably terminate in the same connector style. But I've also used this on keyboards where I have a lot of bends that I want to access. As you can see on this guy, there's actually 2 of those connectors because there's so many points on the board, more than 25, that I want to go to that patch bay. Let's see if I can. So this is the control box for this Casio. This was sort of like a test version so I could figure out what goes on inside this thing and maybe come up with some sort of different wiring scenario, but it's, I don't know, partly finished and requires a lot of R&D. And I've just ended up kind of playing with it to sort of get a feel for it. It does some interesting things. But anyway, so DB25 cables are useful for a variety of things as a connector, but they also just have a bunch of really nice wire inside. Some people use like telephone wire. The wires inside old telephone cable, but as you might be able to see on this, I'm not sure, it'll become apparent eventually, but there's a bunch of differently colored wires inside of here, and they're all pretty nice quality. And for 25 cents, you kind of can't beat it. And this I find helpful. Be real careful doing this stuff, but I find this really helpful for when you have tons of different little connections on a circuit board, say you're going to multiple points on a microchip, and you want to be able to differentiate everything. This is how you can do it. And then if you run these specifically colored pieces of wire to your DB connectors, which you can buy just alone. It's 4 p.m. by the way. Then I lost my train of thought thanks to my talking clock. Anyway, here's your okay. So you can make notes to yourself about how these correspond to the legs, or I guess pins, the pins of your DB connector, and route them accordingly through your switch or just a cable to a different box or whatever, but you'll know. So this, once you start that end, you can kind of pull this bundle out and you see that it's coated with a shielding. So you just kind of have to unravel that, and we'll do that. But what we'll end up with is a bunch of these differently colored wires, and I have a bunch of different points on the alphabet apple which require some body contacts to be wired to them, and then do some testing to see if they're all necessary. I also suspect there might be some points where if I put a capacitor in parallel with another capacitor, it might do some strange things. So I need those leads to do some of that testing easily on the alphabet apple I've got open. I'll do that soldering in the shop. So yeah. Now, as I've probably lamented before, I've got too much stuff, but what is nice about those Golden Sound stories is they do break down into, a pretty small circuit if you want. I was buying a lot of them when I'd see them for cheap on eBay, but that was a few years ago, and I've sort of stopped doing that because I have tons stacked up in various places, but I was checking in on them lately because I do have an eBay store, as I mentioned, and boy, some of them are exorbitantly expensive. I think people, remember these from their childhood because they are from the 90s. I got interested. This is a mail call, by the way. I noticed this lot on eBay, made an offer, and well, it's fine. In fact, I'll probably I'll have to do some work to do it, but I'll end up getting some of it for free. But in the long run, as I'll probably sell a couple of these. This Barney's Magical Picnic is not one that I really like, but it's in beautiful shape. I mean, just nice. And I think this could command like $15 or so on its own. I'll need to swap out some working batteries, but that's okay. I don't use the button cells anyway. But I got obsessed with these probably about 2007 or so, and I'll run and get my original circuit bent device, which is probably dead at this point, but it inspired other ones. But this is a fun one. I'll see if the book that's actually the first one is in here. I don't think it is, but maybe. So these two I like. This one too. Pinocchio's good. The Trolls are good. Oh. Ah, yes. Here's the one that started it all. And I happened to find the original thing that I bent with this guy. This is a good one. This one's interesting because Big Bird says two different things. And I'm pretty sure it's similar to the Sesame Street All-Star Band keyboard, which you might know from my other videos. This one's good. I like this one. Snow White, unfortunately, does not conform to the circuits that I like, but that's okay. Oh, I almost had a little life in there. This one's similar, I believe, to that Barney one, where it's got 4 batteries and there's an IC. Now this one, Mickey, also doesn't conform to the one the style of circuit that I like, and I had another commenter talking about this style of circuit, I believe, inside of a Peter Pan one. This is basically what most 10 Sound Golden Sound stories are, aside from the format that I like. And I haven't been able to do much with these other than disconnecting what seems to be the pitch circuit to get these kind of shimmering noises, but I can't seem to actually control it with variable resistance. So not quite sure what goes on with these, but this one, again, is in pretty nice shape. Oh, the Casala Grandkids, 1992. I was thinking it was Casale or maybe it's Casella. I was thinking it was Casale, like Jerry Casale from Devo, and Bob, of course. Rest in peace. This one's in great shape. So I'll just probably sell these 3 and keep the rest. For my nefarious purposes. Part of what got me collecting stuff too, other than an excuse to go to the thrift store, which I enjoy, is just getting out of the house, especially here in cold Illinois in the dead of winter. You know, pardon me. You like to find things that you find time and again that are circuit bending targets and kind of focus in on them. So you have something you can work with in different ways, learn the circuit, etc. And that's sort of what I've done. I've spent a lot of time hoarding more so than actually understanding these circuits. But as stuff seems to get more rare, I guess it's time. And electronics components are expensive now too. I've got a collection just sort of I've built up over the years, but man, it can be an expensive hobby. So I'm trying to use mostly what I have around as well in terms of components. So that's what's going on. And you can see my rather horridly obese collection in other videos. So anyway, on to trying to get this beautifully rainbow colored wire, and we'll be able to differentiate our different touch points on the circuit inside of this. One of the things that probably has, sapped my enthusiasm for this hobby is you end up putting a lot of time and effort into some of these things only to hit these walls that, you can't surmount, burning up circuits or whatever. And so I have a lot of these like doom boxes full of old projects. This is what I wanted to show you though. This is the original Barbie-tron. You can see the pink under there still. And then this was off a walking like pedometer, maybe a thermometer or something like that. But these just like are like squishy rubber buttons that enact the bends. And that was actually a pretty cool feature I really haven't redone. But I mean, the amount of time that went into this stupid thing, when in the end, it just makes a lot more sense to make a giant interface and then have the different circuits you can plug in. But I figured that out way later. That's a deodorant cap. This saw some road usage and got pretty pummeled. Put this together with like Bondo spray paint. A lot of freaking work. So this one was wonky, but fun. But that comes from this book here. So I better put this stuff away before I wreck it worse. As I was saying, I do want to thank folks for viewing my videos and reaching out in the comments. I do read all the comments. Thankfully, I haven't been getting too many nasty ones. All very productive ones. So as long as they stay positive, I'll try to get back to you. So, positive vibes only, man. No, so okay. We're back to the alphabet apple, and so you see I've got a clip lead there on the board. That's a good spot, or I thought I could grab negative or ground. So we've got it running through our potentiometer, and as we turn the wiper this way, it'll get higher in pitch because the resistor that we've disconnected on the board is about 900K. So that sounds about normal to me. I've got this attached with clip leads to our leads that we've wired before. I just disconnected the one leg of the resistor. Sometimes I disconnect the wrong leg, so to speak. So what we're going to try to do is connect the ground and see if that does anything to our pitch. Surprisingly, not much. Okay. Okay. So it does drop the pitch some, I think. Okay. Well, so there we have it. Sometimes it helps to connect ground to the other wiper to get maximum range of your pitch bend, and they all behave a little bit differently. So I'll, like I have on the board here, probably try to pick up ground somewhere near there. It's just a bunch of resistors, I think, or something going to ground there. And make that permanent. And you can probably also then use these like body contacts. And, Just out of curiosity, let's switch these around. Interesting. All right, let's not do that. Let's try it again just as it was. Boy, that is a stiff potentiometer lead. It's super cold in this shop, too. Okay, well, anyway, so we'll obviously want some body contacts then for that. Okay, so great. Let's try some music.
Bye-bye. Hello. Which letter comes? Press a button.
I don't think switching these around should make it behave necessarily. Maybe it will. Okay, I think that's the actual orientation we want. Believe it or not. The body contacts are behaving more how I want them in this fashion, where when I press there it goes lower. So I think that's what we want. So in this orientation we'll make so it's ground to the middle leg here, where the resistor is disconnected, and then the white leg there, the blue lead. Ground, red, blue. Okay. So from here, I'm going to want to try to solder some leads to the points that we decided were like the glitchy body contacts, and attach wires of different colors to those points. Anything that we're missing where I've marked, but I think this is all for the most part, except for maybe there. It sounds a little different. Anyway, so that's maybe one of the points right there where the red is. You can't really see that point there. I don't think that has a lead going to it yet. And then there's these 4 points along here, but I think some of those, like this one, is already accounted for. So I think in order to get it to glitch out, though, we're going to want it probably close to... Okay, well, anyway, we're trying to differentiate which of these might be the glitch points. So, and does it behave that way if the ground is connected? So, well, we'll see. But that's for next. So let's get to it. I guess I've got my, and we should take the batteries out while we're soldering there. So we're gonna do that. What do we need? Orange wouldn't be bad. Maybe pink. Maybe we'll save gray for our ground point. Is there? Oh, there's a black one in here, so we'll use maybe that just to match. So this is that big bundle of printer cable that I'm pulling from here. Maybe like an aqua. I know that's not represented. So pink and orange wouldn't be a bad one. And there's an orange with a stripe as well. So, well, orange and orange with white stripe might be our audio. We're gonna call that probably the case. Often yellow is audio. I think in this one it's white, but you know, it's sort of whatever. But I'm gonna use orange for that. And orange stripe. My favorite gum or soda. Not really either of those things. So, in talking about, again, I think, thank you to the viewers that have mentioned things. For one thing, I have my camera aimed in a different fashion now, so you're not getting as much of the crotch shots. And to another commenter, I thought I had gotten rid of these toys, but in fact, I have them both. These Megcos alphabet boards. I pulled the screws out of them. They were sitting in one of my garbage cans I didn't look in. So if you want them, let me know. They're yours for the price of shipping. Like, I'm not trying to get rich off these. I already pulled all the little screws out of it, so I'd have to dig around to reassemble those, and I don't think we're going to be doing that. So maybe you have your own tiny screw bin of your own at home. Maybe not. Okay, so moving on here. What's accounted for? Oh, I can use this thing as a magnifier. Okay, so that point is our pitch resistor, the far leg. So we can pick that up off the potentiometer for our body contact, since we already have a lead there. That's ground. Right there, interestingly. This one, unaccounted for. This might be a pitch, or not a, I mean, it could affect the pitch. I'm going to have to aim this slightly, but as we'll look at the other side of the board, but you can see that this here was our pitch resistor. And then red here is connected to the other end where it connected to the board. I think this, and we'll find out by looking now, is not a potentiometer, a capacitor, for goodness sake. Can we see it? There it is, right? Oh wait, no. This next door fellow here. Okay, this is our pitch resistor. That's another resistor. this is a capacitor. That interestingly goes to this point over here. And it actually does not seem to connect to our pitch resistor. Is there any shared leg of the pitch? Yeah, there's a cap over here. This guy, perpendicular. And that happens to share this leg of the cap and ground. Okay. So, which leg is that? Okay, so if we wanted to test capacitance, I think I'd do it here. Let's just see if I got a random cap laying around. Well, actually, on second thought, we don't have the batteries in, so do that later. But so we'll need that. That's ground. So what we're missing is this point here, which connects to that other resistor. And we'll probably access it there. I don't know if we had any activity with this over here. And then there's this one. I don't know what this connects to. Variety of components, but probably I'm thinking over here might be where we want to solder a lead. So that's actually just 2 leads, I think. That are different than what we've already got. Okay. So what do we say? Pink and aqua, right? That'll be fine. That'll be easy to differentiate. Got a long strand here. Well, the main reason I took all those alphabet apples apart is to see if there was any differentiation in the circuitry over time. I didn't see any. When I saw one of these that was glitchy originally, can't remember if I tinned this or not, but we're going to tin it. Okay, so it's maybe a little over tinned. I'm going to trim it slightly. When I originally saw a bent one of these, it was done by Tommy Stevenson, and I thought he had like connections to this board that had like jumpers through the back and stuff. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Extra tin. We don't want to linger. This is our, do it this way, so it's, I think that'll be fine. Boy, the lighting here kind of sucks. I thought that doesn't look so hot. Try to add a little bit more. we go. I think that did it. There's one body contact. So I remembered Tommy's. Oh God, this is terrible footage. Let's see if we can do better for the next one. Tommy's, I originally remembered there being like jumper wires through to the brown side of the board, which you see on some circuits. And I think that's where all his connections was, if memory serves. But I mean, it's been decades now, so who knows? But I didn't observe anything like that on these boards where there's like jumpers through the boards. So I don't know what the dynasty of the alphabet apple is. There might have been way earlier versions of this circuit, and later ones are in heavier production, or it could be my faulty memory, which we see at work clearly from here and there in these videos. But that's part of why I'm filming too, is to just kind of keep all this stuff straight. This is notes. This is as things happen in my workshop. The pace at which I comprehend these things. Okay, that was my other mark there. So I'm going to get these wires attached, clipped, and then figure out a way to try to test the body contact so we can be clear about what is exactly going on with them. Because minimal componentry is ideal. That looked like a pretty good one. All right. So we don't need quite that much, but I like to leave a lot and then trim later. I can't imagine we're going to need much more than that to reach anywhere in the case, and we still have quite a bit left in those colors. So I'm going to leave it there for now, but because it's super cold out here. That's my breath. I guess while I've got the iron hot, I am going to run an additional ground lead. We don't have to necessarily put it on the potentiometer, but it'll be a place where I can clip and we can use it if we need it. It's probably going to end up as a body contact. So, and a connection to that potentiometer. Where is the black wire that I pulled out of there? It's still in there. Thought this daylight light would help, but I think honestly it's in competition with the other color cool white light that is in my overhead light. So I guess at least the camera is not pointed at my crotch this time around. Jeez. This wire can be kind of a pain to untangle as it is wound together somewhat. All right, we got us a nice piece of black wire. That's kind of globby, but whatever. That's where we want the solder to attach. So I want to kind of lay it across there, I think. Yeah, that'll be fine. Tin our tip and come in. All right. Boom. Dope. Let's try again. Actually, well, it's pretty cold out here. I think we'll be all right. There we we go. Sizzled the board a little bit, but I don't think we hurt anything. I mean, let's see, these are like, yeah, resistors. So I'm avoiding trying to make connections right next to there, as that's where the black blob is, and under that's where the sensitive stuff that you could probably fry up. So if you can connect to different spots on the board, why not? Let's see if this thing fires up still. All right, so what I'll probably have to do, rig up some sort of interface with clip leads where I can kind of test things out. I guess I should probably just choose a spot for the potentiometer, because I mean, like there's any mystery where that's going to go, really, because it's about the only spot where there's space, and that's right there. I think. Okay, and then there's also these like spacers here, some of which might need removal. What is under there anyway? So, well, maybe it will fit in there. There's this like spacer. I thought it was under the board, but I don't know what goes on quite with that. I think this board is supported by these. So I think right there is going to have to be where our dial goes. And then I assume the body contacts will probably be pretty close there. I'm not sure how I'm going to figure out which ones I need and all that stuff, but I'll rig up something as a mock-up, and then we'll go from there. 5 meg, eh? Interesting. Well, what about a not so... while we're at this, so I've got that 1 meg pot here. Let's see what this does, because that thing is really stiff and obnoxious. Maybe this will be better. Bye-bye. Okay, still on.
Press a button. Bye-bye.
All right.
Hello. Press a...
No. Everything is connected as it should be.
Press a button.
Or is it? I think so.
Press a button. Bye-bye.
Okay, what is going on?
Press a button. Press a... Press a button.
Interesting. Maybe a different...
Bye-bye. Press a... Press a button. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, maybe I was onto something there with that like 5 meg pot. So let's get that out of here. Red, and then I think white, if I remember correctly.
Press a button.
What is going on here?
Bye. Press a button. Bye-bye. Press a bye-bye.
Maybe
Press a button.
a goofy connection here.
Press a button. Press a button.
Well, firstly, ground isn't connected. That might be part of it. Let's... Okay. Trim ground down a little bit. Get the end off that. All right, so of course now we have a battery out. All right.
Press a button.
Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, I guess you can't really see what I'm doing here, can you? There we go. Maybe a little better. I'm switching in between my two pots that I have available to me that seem to be within that sort of 1 meg range, and testing it out here to see what is going on. Gosh, this one's stiff as heck too. All right. Well, that's pretty good. All right, now what if we do this?
Hello. Press a button.
All right, I think I did have the orientation correct. Let's try this one more time. That's 1 meg. So all right, well, okay. So I guess we're going to try to hardwire some components and then figure some other crap out. Okay. The other thing would be, so, okay. A switch to make it, oh boy, all right. Maybe I better think about this a little bit. But I'm gonna need a switch to switch from the stock resistor to the potentiometer. So this comes off the end of the stock one. So basically, it would just join these two, and that would be normal. Or flipped, then this goes to where the middle leg of the potentiometer, I guess. So, okay. So it's not that hard, but I'll put the switch probably somewhere inside of that handle. I'll draw it up first and then get to it. But so, yeah, thanks for watching.